What's up, nerds? Welcome to the special WandaVision series finale episode of Them Nerds. Tony over here, Jerry over there. What's up, y'all? Jerry, tell us about this show.
It was to me, I loved it, but I'm sure it's mixed reactions from a lot of people who thought they were gonna get every answer to everything.
Yes. So before we get into the recap, we're going to be doing a two-part finale breakdown. The first part will be the recap. The second part is going to be kind of me crying a lot about me not getting to see the characters I wanted to see, and Jerry repeatedly telling me, "Shut up, it was good," which is how my text messages look. Also, we are giving away. Finally, we're going to be giving away this Wanda Funko Pop. If you have liked, subscribed, commented, interacted with our content on social media at any time during the run of WandaVision, you're going to be entered to win. And we will be announcing that winner very soon. I would say probably next week.
I think next week's the week.
Next week's
we'll be going to our next giveaway.
That's right. Yes. We definitely will be having another giveaway as we move into the next phase of Disney Plus Marvel shows, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which we will talk about next week. So let's pick up right where we left off, which is what this show did. We picked up right where we left off. We see Wanda and Agatha out in the street. Agatha's got the boys all choked up. What happens?
Well, for the real villain for me for the night was Disney Plus, seeing as though it took me about 3 hours to be able to actually watch the show. Some people have the "Please Stand By" as their worst part of the series, and mine is the error message that I repeatedly get trying to watch the show. But we see that both boys are on the leash. Wanda gives Agatha a pretty powerful hit with some chaos magic, knocking her down and breaking the leash and telling her boys, scat. Go home.
Skedaddle, boys.
And then she does what any good mother would do. She hits her with a car.
That's right. Yes. I loved when she threw the car at her and knocked her through the wall, and she went over to look for her, and the boots were there, like the Wicked Witch of the West,
exactly.
Style.
Exactly. Nice little nod to it.
Yeah. So she's standing there. She's looking at this pair of boots and assuming, I don't know what she assumed she had done to Agatha at that point, but in the window, she sees the reflection behind her of the White Vision. Not me, but Paul Bettany's character, the White Vision. So she turns around. She says, "Vision?" And then he proceeds to give her the Mongolian death grip.
Yeah.
On her head.
Cobra clutch or something.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and gives her a little remark about how she's supposed to be powerful, and I guess when you're crushing someone's skull, it's kind of hard to be powerful. Can't really think of a spell when you're
White Vision is a snarky bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were supposed to be powerful. Okay.
White Vision came in like a real Karen. Ooh, I gotta stop you.
Yes.
And so then we get to see our old Vision come flying in and taking him out. And then they have their little monologue with each other about how this was all for you. I did it for you.
Right.
He's like, I understand.
Yes.
Give me the gift receipt.
So after White Vision and Hex Vision kind of, after Hex Vision knocks White Vision across the block, White Vision comes out of the flames, very Terminator style, which I thought was also a nod. Maybe I'm wrong, but that kind of struck me as very Terminator-like because he was supposed to be this unfeeling version of Vision coming up out of there, right? And then we get to see Pietro returns.
Yes.
Fake Pietro, aka Ralph.
He still has old Monica locked up in his man cave.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The man's name is Ralph Boner.
Yeah.
Boner.
Or is it?
Okay. We're going to talk about this in part 2. We have strong disagreements about the significance of Evan Peters being on this show. I don't know. We'll get there. But he's still displaying the Quicksilver powers, right? He flicks Monica, knocks her across the room a little bit, and kind of keeps her there. Eventually, she realizes that he's being controlled by a necklace. She uses her new fancy pants powers to see that it's magical.
Yeah, it was like a nice little like a necklace, like your friend's kids like, here, I made this for you, and then you're like forced to wear it all the time.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been better if it had been a puka necklace, but that's just me.
Right. Yeah, it actually kind of looked like a kind of a bro necklace, like,
Yeah.
Oh, sup, bro?
And I had mentioned this to you that I did think that the man cave that he's in is very reminiscent of when you first see Quicksilver in Days of Future Past, where he's inside of his little garage area. And so I still think it's a nod and a wink to what we might be getting, but I'll get into that later on.
Yeah.
I have a very good explanation why I think so, but we'll see.
I think the only nod and a wink is to people like us who spent way too many hours speculating about the fact that a professional actor was cast in a role to play someone named Ralph Boner.
Yeah.
So outside of the Hex, we see Tyler Hayward, talking about going in. He's getting all of his people ready to roll. He's scheming evilly while Jimmy Woo comes in cuffs, and he magically, since he's kind of a little sleight of hand artist these days, right? Palms a cell phone and kind of puts it away, right? He lies to Hayward and says, "My men will be here within the hour." And Hayward says, "You're bluffing. Or am I?" Very standoff moment there. And then he gets tossed on some hay bales, and they inexplicably leave him alone.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, highly trained FBI agent.
Well, I mean, if anything we've learned in the last month, a lot of times when people break into things, the FBI will just leave you alone. Let you go right back home.
That's true.
So it's fitting. He did went ahead and got himself out of the handcuffs and made his phone call to Clark and asked for him to come on down. I think that's one thing that I think the show has kind of been lackluster in is all these, mysterious off the, screen phone calls that you're like, well, this has to be somebody. Who's Clark? Now I think Clark Kent's coming in.
No, it was Cliff.
Oh, is it Cliff?
Yeah, because I got in an argument last night with some ding dong on some group on Facebook where he was like, it was supposed to be Clint Barton. He was supposed to come in. Hawkeye was going to swoop in and save the day. And somebody was like, the guy's name was Cliff. Cliff.
That's short.
I replied with a GIF of Cliff Clavin from Cheers. It might as well have been him, Anyway.
He's also there just to deliver stuff.
Yeah. Well, there was a Norm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
So anyway, Hayward finds his inn conveniently very soon thereafter. But as we're back inside of the Hex, we realize, what the hell just happened?
Somebody drove past my Ring doorbell. It was magic.
It did sound quite magical. I thought it was the carniceria truck that drives by your house. That's pretty.
I would have ran off.
Man. Just taken off, flown off like Wanda down the street.
Ran off like a Ralph Boner.
Oh man, meat.
Now you're just thinking about carniceria.
That's right. Yeah. Now I'm like, man, I need some carnitas. Anyway, so we are back inside the Hex. We see that Agatha is sort of prodding Wanda with the fact that the townspeople are being held by her and that they don't like that. Right? And she's like, shut up, you're lying. And they're like, please kill us now.
Yeah. You're not going to just let us go. Just kill us. Like, that's always the way. They don't know how to be hostages.
Right. The woman who was Mrs. Hart in the first episode, who we know from that 70s show, right?
Yeah.
She was like, if you're not going to let us go, at least let us die. Like every old person we know.
Yeah, I'm just going to die. I'm on my last mattress. She should have, as she was being choked out, just said, stop it. Stop it.
Stop it. Stop. So this is kind of a realization moment for Wanda that she's been kind of harming these people, right? And so she decides that she's going to use her power, which Agatha's prompting her to keep using her power because she wants to steal it, right? She opens the hex, and when she does that, Hayward brings his people in. They come in, right?
Yeah.
And then she realizes, as she looks around, what's happening to Vision and the boys when she has the hex open.
They're going to pieces, very reminiscent of the cover from House of M, where they're breaking off into like Tetris pieces as they are falling apart. And yes. Agatha unleashes the real true story that she has created them within this hex. So because of that, they're attached to it.
Which we as the audience knew when Vision tried to leave the hex initially, right? So she can't handle that. And so she closes the hex back up, restoring Vision and the boys to their former splendor as shown in Jerry's background. Yes. The family that fights the government together stays together. So then we are, let's see, where we go from here.
I'm just saying, this mentally. Is just my opinion on this raid of Westview. They had more federal agents at Waco. And all that was a guy pretending to be Jesus. This is a full-blown sorceress, created a whole town, held hostage, begging she held them hostage for so long, the people begging to die.
I got the impression that I had the same thought. I was like, if this happened in real life, like you would see NATO and you would have satellite guided missiles just pointed with nuclear warheads all over this town. I got the impression that the reason why it wasn't like that is because Hayward didn't want everybody to know about it. He wanted to do as little as possible to eliminate this threat and get the glory.
Yeah. Right? I guess also he lost a large portion of his team to the Hex Shield. To the circus. Yeah. Which we never saw. Those people are still out there.
They're just out there wandering the countryside, having odd memories about clowns. So we get the scene that is behind Jerry there. Vision decides to deal with White Vision. Wanda is dealing with Agatha, and Monica is there, and we get to see the boys' powers, which is kind of cool. Wanda tells Billy or tells both the kids deal with the military, which is what any good mother would do.
Yeah, any good parent would be like, hey, guess what? You guys are 8.
Yeah, she probably knows that they're just friggin' fake. She's like, I don't care, get shot.
Yeah, I'll bring it back.
Yeah, she's like, get wrecked. I'll make a new one. So Billy's
you're kind of annoying anyways, Tommy.
Right. Billy stops, slows down time to the point where the military's all kind of frozen, and then Tommy bings around and steals all their guns and hats for some reason. And then we see Hayward come out, and he's shooting at children.
Exactly, which is not uncommon in America.
Yeah.
And they Monica jumps in
and
he saves the children.
Yeah. We got this really cool
photon.
Right, full photon. We got this really cool scene where the two main protagonists of the show, really, Wanda and Vision, are off fighting their own little battles, witch versus witch, Vision versus Vision. And the real threat to the family seems to be this military force. And they get handled by 2 imaginary children and a woman who has only had powers for a day.
Yeah. How does she know she can stop bullets?
I don't think she did. That's why she's so heroic. Oh. She was willing to take a bullet for these kids. Now, if she would have known that they were totally fake, she might have been like, meh.
Maybe she remembered that she could shoot her disco clothes with a gun.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point. She said, if my bell bottoms can take a 9mm shell, then I know that these clothes can too.
Yeah, but then what if she was wrong? Because she should have been wearing that spacesuit, because that's really what went through first.
That's right. That's right. So as Hayward realizes that he has run out of bullets, and doesn't carry any more, because I know when I raid a superpowered enclave, I only bring one magazine.
Well, I also noticed, by the way, he held that gun. He hasn't been on the field for a while.
So he gets in his car and he tries to escape like a big old puss. And Darcy, the hero of the show, comes barreling in with the funnel cake truck, which I still really wish we had a funnel cake truck, and smashes him in. She's like, "Have fun in prison." And that's it for him. He's done.
That's it for Darcy.
And that's pretty much it for Darcy too. And scene.
Yeah.
Yes. And then Wanda and Agatha engage in some witchy trickery.
Yeah. Fly around for a while, and Wanda comes back behind her and does her old Age of Ultron move and puts a spell on her and brings her back into Salem, 1693.
He gives her the Sokovian greeting.
And then when she gets there, she realizes, oh crap, these witches are not on my side.
Yes, she realizes that not
bitches.
only... Huh?
These witches be bitches.
Oh man. She has again another realization that not everybody likes her. I just realized that, like, where my head is right now, I am Scarlet Witch.
You know, like, yeah, you are. Now you're the Scarlet Witch. You're really getting the whole compass of this whole show. You were White Vision this week or last week. Now you're
I am wearing.
I don't need to tell you who you are, Tony. You already know.
That's right. I'm also wearing my very cool Scarlet Witch shirt. It's my favorite shirt. It's a good shirt. Anyway, so after the whole like witcheroo shit, sorry about that. That was bad. She realizes that Agatha wants to take all of her power, and they go up into the sky and they're hurling magic balls at each other. And come to find out, right when Agatha thinks
she's won
the day, what do we see?
Wanda's floating around like she needs some Olay, just some moisturizer.
She's ashy.
Yeah. And then Agatha breaks it out and lets her know, guess what? I tricked you.
Psych!
You can't change a spell. These people gonna die. And then Wanda's like, no, the psych's on you.
I'm sorry. I just realized I look just like Batwoman.
Okay. Not the new one. No. So then
just switch this.
You look like you're halfway through drag. Then she all of a sudden tells Agatha, you don't need to tell me who I am. I already know.
Yeah.
And then she unleashes her inner Scarlet Witch, which basically is just a costume reveal. I mean, but that's cool.
It was a cool costume reveal.
Yeah. And then she shows her, I have all these I was gonna call them ruins, but I don't know if that's the right runes all over, and that I'm the witch who created this place. I'm the witch who put these runes up. So your magic does not work here. Very similar also to the Wizard of Oz.
Right.
Be gone.
True.
And she takes out Agatha and slams her to the ground, and she gives her a good scolding over.
That's right. And before this happened, not to gloss over the White Vision Hex Vision battle, but they are they have this conversation and they talk about this thought experiment called the Ship of Theseus, which I won't go into here, but it's something I actually really like, and I've talked to people about it a lot. It's just this weird thing that I enjoy discussing. And he convinces White Vision, Hex Vision convinces White Vision that neither one of them is really the true Vision, because neither one of them have what the original Vision had. And White Vision wants some explanation, some elaboration. And
White Vision makes him watch DIY on TV, and he shows him a whole bunch of house makeover. He's like, that's basically the premise.
Yes, that's
you got the same pipes, but your wood floors are different.
This is true. Just a paint job, man. Just a paint job. So once Hex Vision kind of shows him his unlocked memories, he concedes that he is Vision. He's the one who is Vision. He's the original parts, and he still has the original thoughts. And he shoots off through the sky. White Vision, series wrap, gone. So there is a synthezoid floating around out in the world, looking like a gigantic icicle.
Yeah,
and we don't know what's going on with that. That's one of those mysteries that was left behind, which we will discuss in part 2.
Last time I saw someone fly off like that, they ended up on Ragnarok, so maybe that's where he's at.
Hey, could be. So, and then that's a wrap for that. Going back to Wanda, bringing Agatha back down to the ground. She has taken all of her power, and she turns her back into Agnes, the nosy neighbor, and tells her that she is basically cursed to stay in Westview. And Agatha says, you're going to need me. And she says, I know where to find you, which I think means we're probably going to revisit Westview at some point.
Yeah.
And revisit Agnes/Agatha at some point. So, and that would be series wrap on Catherine Hahn. She's done. And we wrap up the story. Run down that last little bit for us, Jerry. Wanda and Vision and the boys return to their home for one last time. How does that go?
I mean, that's basically how you wrap it up. So they return to their homes and they tuck the boys in bed, and they both, just tell them basically, that they did a great job, similar to the ending of Babe.
That'll do, mutant pigs.
That'll do. And then they tuck him in, and she's looking through the window. She sees this red fields coming. It's going to slowly. She knows her children are going away. And as she walks out of the room, she turns to him and says, "Thank you for choosing me to be your mother." Actually, a very touching thing, especially, for a Disney movie, I guess. Or I guess it is what Disney's all about. So who knows? So then they leave the boys, and you just assume they got eaten up by the field. And they go downstairs, and for some reason, they start turning off all the lights like PG&E matters. And Vision says how he just wants to look at her, and they start talking to each other. And he says before he goes, he wants to know, what am I? And she explains that he's her, all the parts that, all my hurt, all my sorrow, all my love, that's you, with a little bit of the Mind Stone that I have inside of me.
Right.
And then he makes it I think also, if anything we've learned from this series is that basically Vision is like, William Shakespeare. And he says this thing, I was a voice without a body, and then I was a body without a stone. Am I wrong?
Without a mind, or I don't know.
Yeah, without something like that. Like this whole, he just breaks it all down. It's like, it's very sad. But then he says, we've said goodbye before, and then like basically, and here we are. And so then she says, we'll say hello again, which we all know that they probably will.
Of course.
She doesn't know that.
Right.
But he knows that.
White Vision flew off with his memories. He knows what's up. He's going to be back at some point. And we know that Wanda is out there somewhere. Alaska, perhaps? I don't know.
I took it as she went back to Wondergar. But you see her leaving the town, and all the townspeople are like pissed off at her still. They're like, there's that bitch. And then she walks over to Monica.
This bitch.
Yeah. Oh, look at her. Gonna walk over here with her hood like she wasn't just choking us out 25 minutes ago. And then Monica is like, I would have done the same thing. And then she's like, get out of here, Wanda. They're gonna arrest you. And then Wanda throws her hood on and flies away, and turns around and looks back at the town, and then turns into Red Riding Hood and flies off the rest of the way. And that's the end of Wanda for the series. And
except for the end credit scene.
And the end of Westview. It's what we see for the last bit of Westview is right there.
That's right.
Until we get a nice little first cut scene for end credits with Monica being talked to by Wu, and then escorted by a federal agent to the theater, where she reveals herself to be
a Skrull.
That's right.
They don't talk like that. I don't know why I did that.
Did they talk like Skeletor? And
well, at least it wasn't Sean Connery this time.
Yeah,
I'm a Skrull.
And then the Skrull lets her know that basically Nick Fury has his eye on you. Just the one. And get your butt up into space.
Yeah. So now we know that that sort of probably will lead us into either Captain Marvel 2 or Secret Invasion, which are both most likely going to be very Skrull heavy. Second post-credit scene or mid-credit scene, we see this beautiful, snowy,
Alpine
remote.
Mountains. That's how I took it.
The what?
Alpine Mountains, like it was
Right.
like the Swedish countryside.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, the first thing that I thought when they did that kind of sweeping shot over the water was Dark
I was
Phoenix.
gonna see the Phoenix.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But so we get Wanda sitting on the steps of a cabin, and you hear a tea kettle go off, and you think, okay, well, she's found her peace here, and that's how that's where she's going to be when someone comes and gets her and needs her or whatever. She goes in and starts pouring her tea, but then the camera keeps panning to the back, and you kind of turn a corner and you see that she's astral projecting the damn Scarlet Witch, flipping through the dark hold with all these runes floating around her head.
It's very similar to Doctor Strange.
Yes.
He's sleeping, but yeah, his spiritual being is still learning everything.
That's the first thing I thought. And that wasn't the first reference to Doctor Strange on this episode. They, Agatha said, "You're stronger than the Sorcerer Supreme."
Yeah.
So then the last little sting that we get, Wanda hears one of the kids saying,
"Mom, help!" It's Tommy. Billy, the telepath. Which one is which? I never know.
Billy is the one that becomes Wiccan. He has her powers.
Billy.
Yeah, it's got to be Billy.
Yeah, it just seems whiny.
Yeah, mommy. So she immediately she hears it. She looks up. It looks like she takes off. It kind of flashes off, and that's the end. Fiend. The end of the show.
What do you give it score wise?
10.
10.
Yeah,
tens across the board.
Yeah, I was disappointed last night when the show ended. I remember sitting there being like, really? That's it? But then as I thought about it, all of these things that I wanted to happen were in my own mind, or things that we hypothesized about here on the show. And if you just take yourself out of that, constant hypothesizing mode, and you just watch the show for what it is, and you keep the MCU and its continuity in mind, it was fabulous. And it was a great ending. It was a great ending for the show, and it was a great ending to tie it into what already happened in the MCU and what we know is coming in the MCU. Just because I didn't get Reed Richards or Blue Marvel or any mutants or anything like that, doesn't mean that it wasn't a great show. It was. It just didn't give us those crazy moments that we thought maybe we would get to see.
Yeah, so I give it 10s across the board. I'll get into our next video, the reason what things that I was disappointed in, things I really enjoyed from it. But I think the main thing that this episode in particular fell short with was the idea that you built up over the course of 8 episodes, and then you try to force too much into a short period of a time.
Yeah,
everything was wrapped up very, very quickly. White Vision was basically beat within 10 minutes. Agatha, through the course of it, is about a 20-minute battle. Sword was taken out by two kids and without very much help at all. Yeah. And in reality, I think that they could have started the first 4 episodes of the season as one episode, just a little bit longer, maybe an hour and 15 minutes, where they just played out the sitcoms through, and then did the longer movies throughout what was left of the time. But that's just my opinion. That's not really a flaw. Leaving me wanting more is what the MCU has done for the last decade and a half. So
yeah, I agree. I think that they could have condensed some of the people were really hating on this show after the first 2 episodes because they felt like it was very what's the point of this?
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think if they condensed the beginning strictly sitcom stuff down a little bit so that we had more room for this, or just added another episode, that would have been good. But anyway, we have lots of wild speculation and a lot of theories to discuss and connections to run through in part 2 of our WandaVision series finale breakdown. I will link it in the comments. And that's it from us here today. We'll see you guys on part 2. Be good to each other.
Very nerdy.
Later, nerds.